All right, guys, we are back with another Buy Now Before Rare series. Today, we've got 10 very interesting and kind of quirky games that a lot of you guys might not have known about or essentially forgot about. So I wanted to make sure this one was unique after we did a big Buy Now Before Rare with big Nintendo Switch first-party games. Now, we do have a couple of those on here, but I guarantee there's at least a few games that you maybe never heard of or completely forgot about. But before we jump into it, if you're enjoying the content, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Buy Now Before Rare Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more first. Now let's go ahead and jump right in and let's talk about Mario versus Donkey Kong. Now this is a brand new game, so we're starting off with something that a lot of you guys have probably heard about. But the reason why I think that Mario versus Donkey Kong is a game for $50 right now, and obviously you can wait if you want to maybe get a little bit of a discount, but Mario versus Donkey Kong, if you go back and look at the original GBA cartridge, that's going for 40 bucks loose and more CIB. So if you hold on to this, and if you look at some of the old remakes that have came out, those always tend to be a little bit more down the line. So when I talk about Mario versus Donkey Kong, or when I talk about certain remakes, I always have those on the list because essentially those games are a way to circumvent the high prices of the previous games. So sometimes a game will come out like on Super Nintendo or on GameCube or whatever the case is, and it gets a remake, and then all of a sudden that version goes down in price, and then the new version kind of replaces it, and then in however many years that new version might become the rare game in that. So I think that could happen here with Mario vs. Donkey Kong, especially since this is a feature complete game, has pretty much everything the original game had on the GBA, and then some. It's got some co-op modes, and I don't think it's really going to need any type of downloads. I know there's an update patch, but for the most part, you can play the game right there off of the cartridge, and that's super important when you're talking about physical games and it being rare. You want to be able to just take that game out, pop it into your Nintendo Switch 10 years from now, 15 years from now, whatever the case is, and not have to worry about a download. So I think Mario vs. Donkey Kong is a game to look out for. You know, get that game before it becomes super rare. I don't think Nintendo's going to be printing a ton of those. The Nintendo Switch 2 is coming up as well, so just look out for Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Don't have to buy it right now. It is full price at 50 bucks, but you can wait just a bit and see what you can get for it maybe in a year or 2 years from now. So just have it on your list. Next up is Klee Fantasy Ry series. Now this is the UK version. Hopefully I pronounced that completely correct. And what I love about Klee, this is a game I don't think I've talked about. If I did in a previous one, I completely forgot, so we're going over it again. This is a great game to pick up, and because it includes two kind of rare, obscure Klee games, I think from the Wii and the PlayStation 2, and it puts them all onto one cartridge with no extra download, all feature complete, no updates, anything like that. Now, there might have been something, but once again, just like Mario vs. Donkey Kong and a lot of the games that we're going to talk about on this list, it really doesn't matter. You can just pop it into your Nintendo Switch and play it. And I love the collections. If you bring back older games like I've talked about before, and the collections where you have multiple games on one cartridge, that right there to me is going to say in the future, it's going to jump up in price. You don't have to have two separate ones like the Wii version and like the PlayStation 2 version or however many other versions there are. I know that's on other systems, but having that right there without an install is the most important thing. It plays off of the cartridge. That is what's going to be the rare aspect of it in the future. And once again, these collection games are always good to have when they're complete on cartridge. So right now, Klee is looking about $30 on Amazon, about $35 on eBay, and $33 at Walmart. So it's not a bad pickup overall if you're looking at everything here with the price and of course the game. Now, next up is Chocobo GP, the UK version. You can get it for about $24 on Amazon, around $40 on eBay, and around $24 on Walmart. And it does seem like Walmart has a lot of like auto price matching, or it's the same people in terms of sellers on Amazon in addition to Walmart, because a lot of the prices are about equal, at least here in the US. Now, obviously that'll be different when it comes to different regions, but just keep in mind a lot of this is based off the US pricing, but this is the UK version of Chocobo GP. There might be a US version, but when I was looking through, I couldn't really find it too much, but I do think that this this one would be fine. And the reason why I say Chocobo GP, this is a really weird game, right? This was a Square Enix live service game that failed so hard they had to unlive service it, make all of the content on there available for you, and completely just move on from the game. I mean, they tried and they spectacularly failed, but I don't understand why they thought Chocobo was a good enough brand or IP in order to have a live service. One of the things that the Helldivers developers said, Helldivers 2 said, you have to earn the right to monetize. I'm sorry, but Chocobo has not earned the right to monetize when it comes to the video game industry. Don't get me wrong, Chocobos are cool in Final Fantasy, but it's a minor character or thing in Final Fantasy. Why did they think that would be able to monetize that type of way? But that's why it's a perfect opportunity to pick up the game. Everything, I think, for the most part, complete on cart. You can get that and not have to worry about the live service because the actual racing is decent and it's got a bunch of cool Final Fantasy characters. So if you're into Final Fantasy, you're into Mario Kart, this is a game. Pretty good price at that $24 on Amazon, and everything's included. Don't gotta worry about live service nonsense that they tried to do. And I'm pretty sure this cartridge is done. They're not gonna produce a lot of these, or anything they already have out is out and they are done with it and moved on, as Square Enix's focus has kind of moved away from games kind of like this. I don't think they're gonna be making a lot of this stuff in the future. So pick up Chocobo GP right now to make sure that you have it before they are all gone. Now, next up is Cuphead on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm surprised I haven't talked about this. This is $25 on Amazon, around $30 on eBay, around $25 on Walmart, and about $40 at Best Buy. And this includes the DLC. You get the Delicious Last Course Meal DLC on there, which I'm pretty sure I might have talked about that, but it's $25. I want to make sure that people know about Cuphead physical. Everything's on the cartridge. You don't have to worry about the download. I don't know how big the Delicious Last Course Meal DLC is, but it's nice to have everything on cartridge. Cuphead is one of those games that you might be somewhere where you visit friend, family members, whatever the case is, you've got that cousin or you've got that brother or sister, whatever, at some point that you're visiting, and you guys want some difficult action when it comes to a game to where they can really test your reflexes and everything. Cuphead is a perfect icebreaker to kind of just go right into something whenever you're with family or friends, especially if you have another gamer in there, because you guys will be yelling, you will be screaming, you'll be like, all right, we got to do this, all right, shoot this. It's really great. Me and my brother played it a number of years ago and had a ton of fun, and I think I'm going to play it again next time that I see him. So Cuphead with the Delicious Last Course included on there, $25. That is a great deal for the game in my opinion. And I just want to say also this too as a side note here, Best Buy is pretty much like washed at this point. I'll just tell you guys that right now. Best Buy is not the place to get a lot of these games. Now, for some of you guys, it might be the only option, but just keep in mind, I'm not going to always have Best Buy on here in terms of the games that I'm going through, because they are a complete wash at this point. They're getting rid of their physical, like a lot of places are, but Best Buy is just kind of weird when it comes down to it. You're not getting the same deals for the most part that you're getting at Amazon, eBay, and Walmart. All right, next up, guys, we've got a fantastic game here, and that is Sea of Stars. It's about $40 on Amazon. That is for the IM 8-bit version, from what I understand. Now, it's around $60 for the Japanese version on eBay, and that is the version that I actually recommend. Walmart has the $40 version IM 8-bit, but if you can get the Japanese version on eBay, or if you can get it on PlayAsia, it's around $50, then you have the shipping, so around $60 or so you'll be paying for it. The Japanese version has a fat box. It looks really cool. I love the art on there. Don't get me wrong, Sea of Stars is a fantastic game overall. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day when it comes to the box art. I mean, if you want the game, get the game. But I do feel overall that the Japanese version could be the more rare version of the game in the future because of what you get inside of the box, because of the presentation and packaging. I do think that one is the more rare one down the line. But once again, you can go with any one that you want to go with. But Sea of Stars, it's a phenomenal game, fantastic styled JRPG from developers who love Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, the old school golden era of Super Nintendo games. Yasunori Mitsuda on the soundtrack as well. It is a phenomenal game. But yes, if you could pick up that Japanese version, whether it's through eBay or if you can find it on PlayAsia when they actually have stock. I know it kind of goes in and out. I think that Sea of Stars is going to be a game physical that down the line will be worth quite a bit, especially considering its reputation in terms of how gamers feel about the game, quality of it, and everything, just how it was distributed, because it wasn't normal distribution, multiple different places, IM 8-bit, these type of specialty sites, PlayAsia. So I do think that down the line there will be no more copies of this game. All right, next up is a very interesting game, not one that I like to play, but one that I think is really good to pick up at this point, and that is Metro Redux on the Nintendo Switch. This was a high quality, impossible or Western gritty type of first-person shooter port on the Nintendo Switch, and what I like about this is that it includes both of the games, the Metro 2 campaigns. It includes both of them on the disc, all the DLC, or more like on the cartridge, all of the DLC and everything. $34 on Amazon, around 30 bucks on eBay, and around $30 at Walmart. So that is really good for this type of game. And once again, it's a impossible Western type of port. You don't see a lot of shooters on the Nintendo Switch. And if you can get that for 30 bucks or so, I think it's going to be the type of game that down the line people are like, remember that game? It's that first person shooter. It's a pretty solid single player campaign type of game. Oh, wow, there's a Switch version of that. How does that run? How does it look? And from what I understand, from what I saw, it actually is pretty solid. Obviously not as good as the Xbox PlayStation version, but a solid Nintendo Switch port for what it is. So pick it up at that price right now. I don't know how many copies of this are around. You don't see it a lot. So I do think that Metro Redux, because everything is on the cartridge, because you have multiple campaigns, because it's an impossible port type of game that's coming over, I think that it's worth the buy if you're looking for something to play, if you want to play a good first-person shooter, or if you're looking for something unique that down the line, you know, just there wasn't a lot of cartridges printed. I think Metro Redux is definitely that. Now, moving on, we're going to talk about a Nintendo first-party game, and that is Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. Now, I might have talked about this game before, but I have to bring it up again because Nintendo, once again, moving on to the next Switch, we know that Clubhouse Games actually sold decently. So there are a number of cartridges out there, but the value of this game has stayed right around the MSRP, which is $39.99. On Amazon, it's $39. On eBay, it's around $40. At Walmart, it's $39. Best Buy, it's $39.99 MSRP. There's used or loose copies out there as well. It's there, but it's just interesting because the MSRP is still that high. So I think that once all of them are out and once people just kind of forget about it completely if they haven't already done so, people won't really find Clubhouse Games anymore. But this is a banger. And the reason why I say it is because this is the type of game that you can just pick up. Once again, no internet connection needed. Go somewhere, play. I think tabletop mode actually works really well for this and what they were trying to do with the Nintendo Wii, but it wasn't really realized until this game with Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, and it's awesome. You can play a bunch of different types of games. It's really fun, and you can even go online. If you want to play the game online, you can play there as well with your friends across the internet and everything. So it's a really cool package overall, and once again, it works really well for offline play too. And the fact that the MSRP, it just kind of shocks me. This really hasn't had too many discounts or sales. I think I saw something a little bit ago, but it seems like physical wise, while there's a lot of copies out there, it just never really goes down. So that tells me that once they're gone, they're going to kind of be gone, and Nintendo probably isn't going to reprint this or remaster it or do anything. It's just an odd game that was released at a time in the Nintendo Switch's life, and it kind of came and went, but a lot of people bought the game. So yeah, check out Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. I actually even streamed it on the channel one time. If you want to just look it up, it's on here. All right, moving on to the next game here, guys. We've got another interesting, weird, quirky game, Oddworld Collection. Now, this includes Stranger's Wrath, Munch's Odyssey, and New and Tasty, the original that was remastered. So you get 3 games, all of them very different in sense and style and characters, but it's $37 on Amazon, around $37 on eBay, and right around $37 on Walmart. So that's pretty much the going price. And once again, all the games on one cartridge. That is the most important thing here. No download or whatever needed. That completely zaps the value of the game when you get these type of games, especially with a classic or such a weird cult classic that's Oddworld. That's a game originally on PlayStation 1, kind of had a cult fan base, but now at this point, it's kind of forgotten, right? People don't really talk about Oddworld like that, but yeah, you have a fantastic collection that are good ports, and it's not really going to resonate with everyone, the game itself and the games, because one of them, Stranger's Wrath, is like a shooter that's really weird, and then Munch's Odyssey is kind of different, New and Tasty's kind of different. They all play and have their weird quirks and everything, but for those who really enjoy Oddworld, it's like a banger to them. They really love it. Now me, not so much, but I think that once again, for collection purposes, having all 3 games on cartridges with no extra download is absolutely a good investment to see down the line where this could be, because I doubt they really printed a ton of these as well. So check out Oddworld Collection. Now we are moving into the last couple games here. This one might shock some of you guys, but it's Ringfit Adventure. I don't think I've ever talked about this, but Ringfit Adventure is a very interesting game. It sold incredibly well, over 10, 11 million units plus for a brand new IP for Nintendo. It uses the same engine as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, believe it or not. But once you play the game, you kind of see, all right, that kind of looks a little bit similar, but obviously in a very different type of way, scaled back in terms of certain things. But I love Ringfit Adventure for a couple different things. One, it's incredibly unique. There is no other game that I think any other developer has released in this generation or so like Ringfit Adventure. It's a very unique workout video game that's good for you overall. I have my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and essentially it's like a resistance band workout type of thing. And of course, you're doing body weight with squats and all that. So yes, if you use it in conjunction with diet and exercise, you should be able to drop some pounds. But it's still $79. It's still pretty much full price, but that gimmick of the ring fit, right? Of that ring that you get and you put your Joy-Cons in there. I think there's a leg strap and all of that. That's the type of thing that Nintendo is like a one and done with. I don't see Nintendo redoing something else. I just see Nintendo just having ring fit, and whatever copies are out there, they're out there. And when they feel like leaving that alone and moving off to going to something else, their next idea, they'll probably just move off of it and nobody will have these anymore. And it'll be some type of rare thing that you barely ever see, despite them selling 10 million copies, 12 million copies, however much they've sold at this point. Now, it's $79 on Amazon. I don't recommend buying it used or anything like that. Buy a new copy. You don't want people's sweat or whatever the heck they were doing with those ring fits and those resistance bands and that leg strap. You do not want that used at all. So I don't recommend buying on eBay unless you know it's absolutely 100% brand new, never opened. I do not recommend buying anything outside of brand new for this game. And then it's also $79 at Walmart, price matching stuff on Amazon. But yeah, if you can pick it up, I definitely say pick it up, just because once again, it's a unique, gimmicky type of game that Nintendo might move completely off of and could be worth way more than the $79 that you pay for it. So we'll have to wait and see, of course, in the future. Next up, and for the last game, we're gonna have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge Anniversary Edition. Now, I've had Shredder's Revenge on here before. That is a fantastic game. But now the Anniversary Edition comes with the Dimension Shell Shock DLC. You also get Sprite stickers, an art booklet, and a Pizza Hut pan pizza coupon while the supplies last. So you have to go get it now, guys, if you want the pizza. Now, it's $35 on Amazon, around $45 on eBay. I don't know why the jump up on there. $35 on Walmart and $35 at Best Buy. You can still pick it up, and that DLC is awesome. This game is not super long. Obviously, it comes with the original TMNT Shredder's Revenge. It's about an hour or so long, but there is a lot of replay value for you to go back and play and collect trophies and medals and different type of in-game achievements and all of that. And then, of course, the DLC adds even more value with new playable characters, different locations, and features. So I definitely think it's worth around that $35 that you'll pay for. And once again, you could get some pizza with it. Hold on to that pizza coupon, guys. But yeah, the DLC being on the cartridge, which is also very good. This is the type of game that you want to just pick up and play. You don't want to have to worry about internet connection or anything like that. You have multiplayer, so it's really good for family gatherings or events, or if you have siblings. So I highly recommend Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. And with the split between TMNT Shredder's Revenge and now this one with the DLC, there's going to be some with this one with the DLC that comes on the cartridge that's more valuable than the original base game. So it might be worth an upgrade when it comes down to it. So that's going to wrap it up for this one here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell. Let me know about some other buy now before rare games that you are looking at or you want me to talk about. And check out my other videos right here on the Buy Now series on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.